Artemis Fowl was directed by Kenneth Branagh and is the newest Disney live-action reimagining of a novel series. A child prodigy living in a world with hidden fairies and various other creatures searches for a solution to retrieve his kidnapped father. Artemis Fowl has gone through production hell. Originally, this movie was supposed to come out last summer, and then it was delayed, and then after COVID-19, it was delayed once again and officially put on Disney+. Thank God this movie did not come out into theaters though, because I could not imagine myself sitting in a theater for an hour and a half watching this film and saying to myself, man, you know what? I really made a good use out of my day driving 20 minutes to the theater and 20 minutes back. I would have wasted an extra 40 minutes. I've never read any of the Artemis Fowl books, but I've heard a lot of great things, and after watching this movie, I can completely understand why so many people are upset. Apparently, this film is nowhere even close to what the Artemis Fowl books were like. This is just a whole new movie with the name Artemis Fowl slapped onto it just to make people go watch it. I can't believe they didn't even bother staying true to the source material. That's the easiest thing to do. They could have at least stayed 50% true to it. However, I've heard that about 10%, if not less, of this movie stays true to the source material, which is really disappointing. Thank God I'm not somebody who read the books and was hoping for a great movie, because if you're one of those people who watched this film on Disney Plus after loving the books and felt like you were robbed, I can't even imagine what you were going through during your viewing experience of Artemis Fowl. And despite never reading the books, there are still several reasons for why I don't think Artemis Fowl is a good movie. It all begins with this film's plot. Its storyline is dull, overblown, and convoluted. How will kids understand what's going on? I couldn't even understand what was going on. Heck, if Artemis Fowl was watching this film about himself, I guarantee you, he wouldn't even understand what this movie is about. Having such a boring, convoluted plot made Artemis Fowl feel a lot longer than it is. Take a guess what the runtime of Artemis Fowl is. It's an hour and 35 minutes. But after watching the film, I felt like I was sitting there for well over 2 hours, maybe 2.5. That's what happens when you don't have a good plot, a movie that just doesn't make any sense. There's no exciting scenes in this movie. Even when there were some action sequences taking place, I did not feel invested whatsoever. When analyzing the film's acting, it's not as terrible as I originally thought it was going to be. Ferdia Shaw plays Artemis Fowl, and he's, well, okay, I guess. In some scenes, he's not very good. In other scenes, I'm like, alright, you have some potential, I guess, but at the same time, I don't really see it. He just has a long way to go, and that's the only way I can describe his performance in the movie. I can't really tell if it's this movie's dialogue or the acting. It's probably both. But oh god, Judi Dench and Josh Gad are also in this film, and they possibly give their worst performances in history. I have no idea what's going on with their voices. Both of them sound like this the whole time. I don't know what I'm saying, but this really hurts my throat. That's how they sound the entire movie, and after a while, it gets so annoying, I just wanted to shut the movie off. God. That does hurt my throat. How do they do that for so long? You know what else is funny? The film's title is Artemis Fowl, and yet Artemis Fowl is only in about half of this film. So I could argue that Artemis Fowl is not even the main character in this movie. Also, when Artemis Fowl is in the film, he doesn't do anything. He just sits around his mansion and tries to solve his father's kidnapping and tries to save him. That's all he does for the majority. There's not really any action sequences where he gets involved. He just runs around for one scene and that's it. But of course it wouldn't be a children's fantasy film if we didn't have ridiculous looking costumes and cringe-worthy moments. This is what I hate about children's cinema. They always feel like they have to make it a lot less smart. That's not what you have to do. This movie doesn't have to be for 4-year-olds. It could be a movie for both 4-year-olds and 12-year-olds, heck, even adults. Why do they always have to have such stupid humor and stupid moments in these movies? You couldn't have thought of anything funnier or smarter to add into this movie? It just boggles my mind that year after year, we have these kids' movies that don't treat kids like they are smarter than they are. It's always got to be something so stupid that I roll my eyes and cringe in my seat. Why can't you think of something smarter and less dumb? I wonder, did they try making a competent film out of Artemis Fowl, or did they just see a popular children's novel series, say, let's make a movie out of this, give it the name Artemis Fowl, and see how much money we can make? That's kind of what I'm guessing they decided to do. At the top of my head, do I have any positives with Artemis Fowl that stand out? I guess, like I said, the performances are fine, except for Judi Dench and Josh Gad, who are terrible in this movie, give their all-time worst performances. Besides that, with the decent acting, I guess the visuals look good. Yeah, it's Disney, so they probably put their entire budget into the visuals. It's Disney, you expect that. And it's certainly not at the bottom of the barrel like other children's movies, where I like to say they always resort to fart jokes when looking for humor. We had another movie earlier this year that always did that, and it was never funny. What movie was that? Well, I think you all remember. I can say without hesitating that I will never watch Artemis Fowl again in my life. There is no reason to. This movie brings nothing new to the table. It's just another ordinary kids movie that was given no thought or care. Unlike their novels that they were based on, this film is kind of like A Wrinkle in Time for myself, where there are interesting concepts, but nothing at the end of the film really comes to fruition like we were hoping for. Like that movie, Artemis Fowl could have been a lot more fun, but nope, that was not the case here. I'm giving Artemis Fowl a 38%. When one of my biggest positives for a film is the fact that it's not the worst of the worst out of its other films in the same genre, you know it's not a movie worth seeing, and that is the same case for Artemis Fowl. Also, what's Artemis Fowl's character in this movie? I heard that he's supposed to be a criminal, but in this movie he only commits maybe one crime, and that's capturing a fairy. I just don't get the idea that he's a villain. What were they going for? Alright, if you guys also happen to see Artemis Fowl on Disney+, I hope you didn't, but what did you think about it if you did so? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.